hopefully that picture's pretty good. Let me get things set up on my laptop so I can see your all's comments. Takes me just a minute. Let's see. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, perfect. Let me mute that so we don't get any feedback. Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Tara with Tarabeth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Missouri, and we've got another card tutorial for you tonight. If you're on tonight, give me a shout out. Let me know you're watching. Hey, Karen. Hey, Rosie. Thanks for watching. So tonight, I had a card made for tonight. It was like a W fold. It was kind of cute. I really liked it. But today, this afternoon, I was doing one of our online classes, and I just decided to change everything. Hey, Stacy, thanks for joining it from South Florida. I bet the weather's nice there. Rosie, thanks. I'm glad you like this card. So this is the first time I've used some of these upcoming products. So this is the Gallery and Blooms. Well, I bet it's called something else. Hold on a second. Let's see here. So this is probably the Beautiful Gallery Suite. And I used a lot of stuff from it. So I used this beautiful floral stamp set. I used the sentiments from the Beautiful Motifs. So this is a double stamp set, die set bundle that's included. So it's what we call a super suite. Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Stacy. I appreciate it. So we've got this, and then I used the beautiful, what did I say that it was called? Beautiful Gallery. Yeah, Beautiful Gallery DSP. And so this is in the annual catalog. This goes live. Hey, Laura, thanks for joining. This goes live May the 6th. So I am super excited for everybody to see this stuff in here. So I did take out a sheet of each one of the DSPs so I could kind of give you guys hey, Angie, thanks for joining. Just a sneak peek of all of this beautiful paper. So when I first saw this, I'm not huge on like photos or like scenes that are created on the DSP, but I think this paper is absolutely stunning. It has a lot of potential to create beautiful cards. So many pieces. So you get 48 sheets in this pack. So you get 4 of each. So look at all of this. Beautiful. I love this. That's so pretty. See, I'm going to run out of space. This is going to be beautiful. That's stunning. Great background paper. This one I really love. I don't know, it's very busy, but I do love it. So just here, and then this is by far my very favorite sheet out of all of it. So this is what this beautiful DSP looks like. So remember, if you are wanting a sample of all the basic consumables, so all of the designer series paper, all the embellishments, all the ribbon, be sure to check out my product share. There's just 7 more days to get that. So yeah, it's a really great way to get a little bit of everything for a lot less money. Okay, so here's today's card. I'm calling this a corner tuck fun double flap card. So just a nice, really pretty, stunning thinking of you card. So I'm going to put this over to the side, and we're going to get started. And let's do some stamping first. So I've got everything kind of pre-cut out here. So I've got a piece of basic beige, and I don't have this on the metric, or I've got this on the metric side, so I can't tell you how large this is. Maybe I can. So this is a piece of 3x4, I think. Yeah, 3x4, and this is what we're going to stamp our flower with. And I'm going to stamp the flower with basic gray. So I'm just going to do a nice little stamp here. Basic gray. And I'm doing ink to stamp because that's a fairly large image. I feel like I get a little more control and good ink coverage when I do that. And especially with those cling stamps, I don't get that little halo. So I'm stamping that on basic beige. I'm going to give that a little clean. And I just have one color of blends. So I'm just using Calypso Coral, and I'm not even going to do that much blending. I'm going to run this along. This is the dark Calypso Coral, and I'm just kind of dotting this in the middle, just a few little strokes there. Oh, and we're going to do it with the bullet end. Now, when I color with my blends, I normally color in a circular motion. And I go over that dark color quite a few times. And the reason that I do that is because I don't want it to be so drastic. So I'm just kind of pulling this over, giving it a nice quick color. So yes, online exclusives. There's going to be a lot of online exclusives in May as well. So make your list, but make sure you check out the online exclusives when you place that first order. The rewards program has changed. So now you're going to be getting your Stampin' Rewards yourself. So kind of like Kohl's Cash. And who doesn't love Kohl's Cash? That comeback coupon gets me every time. So you can stack those and save them to place a really big order. So if you place a couple of small orders, you can save those rewards. Then when you want to place a large order, you can go ahead and place that large order and use up all of that credit. So it's a really cool way for us to say thank you for all those loyal orders. So you can see here, I'm just kind of blending just a little bit with that darker color. Stacy, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. I've got to tell you, this set has been sitting on my shelf for a couple of weeks now, and I really think it's lovely, but it kind of was intimidating. And sometimes I feel like stamp sets can do that to us. You know, you love it and you've got to have it, but then when you get it, you go to use it and you're like, ooh, what am I going to do with that? But the key is to go ahead, get it if you love it, and just give it some time, because sooner or later those juices will flow and you'll figure out what you want to do with it, and it'll be beautiful. So I'm not going to color in the green. I just think it's pretty just using the flowers and having just this pop of color with this basic gray. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks for reminding everybody to click that subscribe button if you like the video. Come back and see some more. All right, so I'm going to cut this with, what did I do with the die cuts for this? Here we are. So here's the Gallery Loom dies. So there's also a really great frame set that's going to come in really handy. So this is a beautiful die set that you get. So I'm just going to die cut this flower. Hey, Amy, thanks for joining. No worries, no worries. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining. So I'm just giving this a quick cut. So I'm going to throw this in. Now I'm cutting at this with my boho blue mini machine. This one is unavailable now, but you can certainly get the mini white. And I love it because it sits right on my desk, right beside my desk, and I can just cut whatever I need and not even get up. Okay, so there's our flower. Karen's probably looking at this and going, wait a second, this isn't what she made for tonight's live. All right, so here's our card die cut. So that's all we're going to do as far as coloring. So I have another piece of basic white that I've already die cut with the Unbound Love dies. That's in the annual catalog, and it is carrying over. And I'm going to stamp this with the Thinking of You sentiment from the Beautiful motif. And I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to line it up and give it a quick stamp. So I'm using that Pretty Peacock because it makes that pop, I think. And I love Pretty Peacock with Calypso Coral and Lost Lagoon. Okay, and now I didn't set out my second sentiment. So there's some really great sentiments on this. I'm just going to leave this here so you can kind of read those. Wishing you love and happiness, just a note, thank you for everything. And I like the different fonts that we're using in that. So I've got that. I'm here for you always, which always goes really great with Thinking of You. I've got a piece of basic beige that I'm going to stamp that sentiment on, and that's going to go on the inside. Yep, I sure did change it up. All right, so here's our stamped items, and now we're going to go ahead and put our card together. So what I have, if I can find it. Okay, I have a piece of basic gray, and this is measured at 5.5 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to bring out my Simply Score tool, and we are going to score that at 4 1/4. So all these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow at the bottom. So once again, this was 5.5 by 6 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And then we have a piece of, I think this is 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 by 6, and we're going to score this at 3. So this is just going right in half. Now I use my Simply Score tool because I think it gives a nice deep burnish. So it allows those fun folds to have those nice deep creases that you need. All right, so this is the flap. I'm going to fold this in half and give it a nice burnish. And so it's going to open up this direction. So we want to make sure that we have our folded line there. So this is going in here. So let me, when I find my seal here, we'll put this on the inside. And I love this basic gray with all of these colors. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock and a piece of the DSP. And I really did not use this page because I really love the front of this. But I have a feeling this is going to be a go-to for me, this DSP, because it's stunning. And I love the colors. All right, so I've layered that up with a mat. And now we're going to put this on the card, or the very front flap. So just being mindful and making sure that I'm getting lots, like the right edge, which I didn't do that time. So we're going to tear that off. So with Stampin' Seal, it's kind of like liquid adhesive. A lot of people like liquid adhesive because it has a bit of wiggle room. So if you don't seal your Stampin' Seal down by kind of burnishing it over there, you do have a minute to kind of pick that up and move that around. Now, I have a piece of basic beige classic ribbon. So this is part of this suite as well. And so it's a really beautiful ribbon, and I cut out like almost a 6-inch piece. Now, I've gone ahead and cut it in half. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling these fibers from my ribbon. And hopefully it doesn't take me forever to do this. So I love when you can make your ribbon look different. And so that's basically what we're doing with this ribbon. So I'm just kind of pulling fiber by fiber. And we're going to make it shred here. And hopefully it doesn't take me forever to do it. Just kind of pulling it. I'm cheating a little here. Pulling those fibers. So I try to pull a couple at a time, so you can see there came 4 fibers out here, and I'm going to throw these on the side. Now you can always save these fibers, and those make pretty embellishments as well. You can tie them together, and so you get kind of a multi-thread that's really thin bow. You can add them with other colors of ribbon, and then you can make your own kind of customizable twine that's thinner than twine. Okay, I'm gonna pull just a couple more so I can get the effect that I want. So you see that it just kind of shows a fringe. Here we go. So you can do you can do it several different ways. You can pull it to the side. You can also kind of pull it from the top as well and work it out. So note to self, maybe do this ahead of time and just kind of show you what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. All right, so you can see this fringe. So the other thing that it does is it kind of curls a little bit weird by doing that. So I'm going to put a little bit of seal here, and I'm just going to create a loop. I want a little bit to hang off this direction, and I want a little bit to hang off this direction. And there we go. See how my flower looks here with it. Okay. Maybe like that. There we go. I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna take some Stampin' Dimensionals and add just a couple to my flowers and adhere it to this card front. Let's see here. I want that up a little higher. There we go. There we go. So now this fringe just kind of peeks out. It's really pretty. So now we're going to add our Thinking of You, and I kind of want it right about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dimensional down here, and then I'm going to put a little seal through the rest of it because I don't want to add a dimensional on this end because it's already going to be on that stem. Make sure we've got it straight. And there we go. All right, so that's the front part. So now we have this piece of DSP here, or basic gray here. We're going to burnish again on that side flap. I'm going to give it just a nice deep fold there. And we're going to layer some more of this DSP. I love this black and beige. Or actually, I think it's basic gray and beige. I think it kind of depends on what you have it layered up against. And now we're going to add this side to the flap. There we go. And now we're going to layer this one with another pretty peacock mat. And I think I've said it before, but I can't say enough about this color combo. I love the Calypso Coral pop with that pretty peacock and Lost Lagoon. Now, here's where the fun begins. Okay, so here's this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this double flap here. Now the problem with double flaps is just like that. They don't stay closed very well. So what I have done is I have cut a 2.5 by 2.5. Maybe that's right, wrong. Maybe it's 2 inches. I think it's 2 by 2. Or it's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 piece of Pretty Peacock. And then I cut it in half. And then the DSP, I did just the 1 5/8 by 1 5/8 square of DSP. And so we're going to add this, layer this together. I cut them right in half. So you're going to get that nice little matte looking. And then I'm going to adhere it to this so that it holds it shut. But I'm going to do it with strips. So these are foam strips. They come in a long, let me see if I've got them in here. Well, they come in a super long package. They're like 8.5 inches long, I think. So what I do is I cut them in smaller pieces. And I like to use these like on shaker cards and different things like that. But this just gives it enough oomph. You could use Stampin' Dimensionals, but I feel like it's not going to be, these are a little bit thicker than Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to glue that right there on that corner. And so you'll see the space there is a little bit thicker than a dimensional space. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that's the reason I did this. So now when I pop this card, I know where to place this card. I want to have just a bit of it underneath that corner. So I want it just about right there. So I'm going to pop that open. So I want it, I'm going to kind of use my DSP as a liner. That's where I want it. And I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus to put this down because it holds a little bit better on these flaps that move around. So I'm going to line this up. And there was my marker, was this little guy down here. I'm going to make sure that's straight as possible. And then that pops right in there. So that's what's going to keep that closed. Now this is not part of the Super Suite. If I'm being honest, I couldn't find those. They're somewhere around here. So what I used is I used the antique pearls. And I think they match really beautifully. I'm going to give that a couple of moon. Here we go. We'll do this medium size one right over here. I don't know where I want to put it. Maybe down there. There we go. All right. So that is today's card. I've got a little bit of DSP that we're just going to adhere to the envelope flap. Stamping Up, I want basic beige envelopes. I don't know if anybody's told you this, but we need them. Everyone contact demo support. Tell them we have to have basic beige envelopes. All right, here we go. I'm going to seal that down with a little liquid adhesive and then give it a snip. All right, so make sure you check out my blog for the dimensions. It'll be available tomorrow. If I might have another one to show you that looks like this as well. Paper share information. It is only available for 1 more week because that catalog is just around the corner. All right, here's today's card. Thank you, Rosie. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, thank you. Let me see if I've got my other one. I don't see it. I don't know what I did with it. All right. Well, you'll see it later this week on my Facebook page. You guys have an amazing week. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday night. We'll see you back here next Sunday night with another card tutorial. Have a great week.